The Colonel Pash scene is one of my favorites from Oppenheimer, so in this video essay, I'll break down the writing and editing skills that made it great. I discussed it briefly in another video, but I can go into more detail. There are multiple points in time which are switched between. Here's a summary. Time A is when Oppenheimer went to expose the communists but got interrogated by Pash. He never gave up his friend, Chevalier, who was involved in the communism scandal. Time B is when Oppenheimer told Groves about the meeting with Pash, and the general warned him about the danger of the colonel. Time C is when Groves, Pash, and Oppenheimer were questioned about this event during Oppie's hearing in the future. The story uses a lot of cross-cutting to enhance the scene. Here's the scene. In Time A, Oppenheimer goes to report a man named Eltonton, who required watching due to his union ties. He's unable to talk more today, so he plans to come back later. Then Time B has Opp and Groves discussing what went down. By having them talk about the event in the past tense, it quickly established Time B was a conversation that happened after Time A ended. Back in Time A, a new person is waiting for Opp. Although his name is revealed to be Pash, we don't see his face. This choice makes his character seem mysterious and important. This decision is duplicated when Time C shows up and Pash is being questioned in Opp's hearing. We see him from the back, but we can't see his face. It builds up anticipation for his reveal. In Time C, he explains how he's been spying on Opp and knows about his romantic relationship with the communist. His espionage skills are the first sign of danger. Then the scene cuts back to B, and it has Groves hyping up Pash's espionage skills and how dangerous he is. He said, quote, "I would never put you in a room with Pash," end quote. If this was all played in chronological order, Pash's interrogation would have retroactively been made intimidating, but by cross-cutting and putting the hype man scenes before the actual interrogation, it makes it intense on the first viewing. Groves tells Opp about Pash's desire for illegal interrogation tactics regarding a communist target. Starting from when Pash was introduced in C, the camera slowly zoomed into important characters. In Time C, Pash and Opp had slow zooms, and in Time B, Groves and Opp had slow zooms. Closer shots imply higher intensity in film language. After the Russian interrogation comment, the scene cuts to Time A, and after getting all of this information on him, we finally see Pash's face. He's friendly and smiling, even comparing Opp to a child he can't see. The juxtaposition between his reputation and his demeanor is unsettling. Combined with the unnerving music, it makes his smile feel fake and intimidating. In Time A, Pash begins to dig for information from Opp. In Time B, Groves continues his horror story about Pash not caring about the rules, hyping up his threat level. Quote, "He had no intention of leaving any witness left to prosecute," end quote. At this point, Time B has moved from medium shots to close-ups. Pash asks about the Radiant Lab, and Opp tells him that there are people who want to share information with the Russians. The camera starts to zoom in a little on both characters as Pash's smile turns into a cold stare. When Opp tried to justify those actions by saying Russia's not as bad as Germany, the scene cut to Time B so that Groves could explain how that argument flopped. He said that despite Pash being the son of a Russian, he went to Russia to kill communists with his own hands. Here, the cross-cutting is like color commentators elaborating on a game to increase the audience's understanding. Opp tries to give up Eltonton without naming Chevalier, his friend. The shots zoom into close-ups, and Pash's stare implies that he isn't buying the story. Groves' comment in Time B reaffirms that. Time C has Opp explaining who he lied to, and Groves explaining why Opp didn't snitch. The cross-cut naturally gives us more information on the story and the motivations. I will compare this to a post-game interview. In Time A, when Pash tries to get Opp to snitch, his shot is the closest it's been so far. Opp tries his best to dance out of the interrogation. His jittery speech contrasted against Pash's composure makes him feel outmatched. The camera zooms in even more. When Opp explains he was trying to protect innocent people, the cross-cut connects with Groves in Time B asking who's protecting Opp. Groves asks Oppenheimer to willingly give up the name if he wants protection. The cross-cutting flows together as if Oppie just got done telling Groves that he was protecting a friend, and then Groves asked him this question. Instead of hearing Opp's recap, we see it in Time A. The cross-cut to Time C is connected by the interviewers asking if Opp gave him the name of the time, which Groves denies. Now, Groves in Time C was telling the story, but we were seeing it in Time B. Then it cut back to Time C for the question. His answer implies that he was unable to protect Opp. The next crosscut tells us why Oppie needed protection. In Time A, Pash indirectly threatens the scientist by saying he'll work together with Opp instead of taking disturbing steps. With what we heard from Groves, we know he means business. Opp leaving the meeting ends Time A. Back in Time C, we see Pash's face for the first time, with Oppie out of focus in the background. Pash explains how he wasted time searching for Chevalier and was transferred before Opp gave it up. The reason he was transferred was because of Groves. As he says this, the focus shifts from Pash to Opp as it zooms in on his slight smile. This revealed that Groves protected Oppenheimer anyway. That's the scene. Here's a recap of all the skills I picked up on. Hiding a character's face can make them mysterious and create anticipation for their reveal. Moving the camera closer to faces leads to a more intense tone. If there is an event scene and a conversation scene, Cross-cutting can use the conversation to hype up the event with color commentary. The conversation can also be used as a post-game interview for the event to quickly drop exposition. Cross-cutting can also be used to cut between a question and an answer, or be used to show someone recapping an event in a conversation rather than just having them verbally summarize it. Finally, cross-cutting can efficiently take a setup and payoff that happened over months in the story and execute it over the course of one scene in the movie. The amount of writing and editing skills on display are what make this one of my favorite scenes in the movie.